start things off, my name is Brian Ely. I'm a senior consultant here at TTC, and today I'll be going over Salesforce automation using Tricentis TOSCA 12.2 and what benefits it can bring to people using Salesforce in their workplace today. So to start things off, we'll be going over some trivia, just some generic Salesforce trivia. So what year was Salesforce founded? Please enter in the chat your answers. I'll give you 10 seconds to answer this question. Okay, so the answer is B, 1999, Salesforce was founded. Okay, the next trivia is, who is the current CEO of Salesforce? Is it A, Mark Benioff, B, Parker Harris, C, Keith Block, or D, Tony Robbins? See a few answers flooding in. Okay, and the answer is A, Mark Benioff. Okay, and for the last trivia question, true or false, TTC and Tricentis can help mitigate testing costs in Salesforce? Let's see this answer. It is true, of course we can. Definitely can help with mitigating some maintenance costs that Salesforce has definitely introduced. Okay, so let's get on to the actual guts of this presentation. So we'll start off with, why is Salesforce testing so hard? And it's not testing manually, it's the automation testing. Why is automation testing hard for Salesforce and other frameworks? Any automation framework, it doesn't matter if you're using Selenium, Tosca, or any other open source automation frameworks. Testing Salesforce or any SaaS application will have its hardships. And here I'm going to explain them next. So looking at the key challenges with Salesforce testing, as you can see, I've broken up into business impact and test automation. So looking at the business perspective first, the cost of migrating tests from Classic to Lightning can be very costly because most automation frameworks won't allow you to smoothly transition without any rework. So the work that has been done has been lost, and the cost is going to be probably multiplied by at least 2 because you're going to have to redo all of those automated tests that you already created. So you're looking at these automated tests that you had in Classic, but now you can't use it in the Lightning version. And the Lightning version is the newest version of Salesforce, and Salesforce is going to be pushing that out in a rolling fashion starting October 12th. So no one has a choice to take it or not. It's going to happen. So if someone wants their automation done in Classic and make sure transitioning from Classic to the new version in October or later is going to work, it'd probably be a good idea to make sure you have it all ready to go. And then looking at it from a test automation standpoint, Salesforce controls are all dynamic, and a substantial amount of time is spent on identifying stable locators. And this can be true for any type of web-based application, because I know dynamic IDs are used everywhere, and trying to pinpoint what is unique on a certain object can be very hard, because if it changes every time you come to the page, it's hard to make sure that object is going to be identified by your automation framework. And looking at Salesforce, I guess just as a whole, I'm going to take one step back and look at this as a whole. Salesforce is a SaaS application and in the cloud, and actually connects to other applications like SAP, Oracle, and other type of applications that kind of hook up to it because it has API open. So it can definitely be used by other things, and it's going to interact with other systems. So looking at this, it's going to definitely be impacted when you're going upgrading and just doing any type of automation on it, because it's not just standalone. So looking at it from end-to-end perspective, it's just one little piece in that end-to-end. Okay, so these are the key challenges that Salesforce has from an automation standpoint. Next, we'll be looking at the new Salesforce engine capabilities and how to overcome these key automation challenges that this new engine will bring. So if you look at this, it says automate, optimize, execute, and monitor. Let's look at automate first. Automate is essentially this new engine will bring every module that is in the Salesforce application. It'll create every module for you in 90 seconds or less, usually. It can also, that can be impacted by connectivity and other things, but usually it takes about 90 seconds. And this will help reduce how many modules you have, because if you have all of your modules created without actually having to go out there and scan them, everyone can use this in the Salesforce environment. So there won't be duplicates. So that's really nice. And then obviously looking at it from a test case design, this will reduce your automation suite by 50% while increasing risk coverage. So if you have everything created, you can also know what to use and what all your flows are, so you don't have to kind of guess at it. And then execute and monitor. Once everything is built, you can obviously execute it in the execution list section in Tosca, and then monitor that and make sure everything is working from Classic and changing it back to Lightning and vice versa. And this also should run on any browser. Okay, so now we'll be moving on to a short demo. Let me know if you cannot see it. Can everyone see my screen on Tosca? Yes, okay, perfect. Okay, so here in Tosca, what we need to do is come to the modules section. It's very simple on how to do this. So you come here, you have a folder, empty folder would probably be the best bet. Right click on that folder, go down to scan, go down to more, and then here's the new Salesforce engine. It's actually a new scanning functionality. Click scan Salesforce, and a new screen will pop up. Here you'll enter in a system administrator credentials, so someone who has API enabled and also can modify all data. So I have a login. And then in Salesforce, they provide these tokens, they're security tokens. And you can reset it, it'll send it to your email, you can put it in here. If you're in a test environment, you probably won't have to, but since I'm on their site, I do need a security token. So then here you can see down here, it's scanning Salesforce instance. And if you do change anything or add anything to the new Salesforce instance, you can also do a rescan and it will replace these modules. So there you go. This is all the modules created, just automatically creates everything if you look here. So these are all usable in the Lightning and in Classic. So here's like the account section for Salesforce. If you look in here, here's all your attributes, and it's pretty much ready to go. So from here, I'm going to create a test case using it. So up here, I already created them, but let's just to show that you can just grab and drop these. So I'm going to jump to this module. So here's a tab bar. Okay, let's come here, use this tab bar. And then I'm going to add in steerable and true. So this is just adding to make sure that when you come to the page, it's usable. And then I want to go to the contacts tab. So I need to copy this, go to contacts, and then change this to input so it clicks that. And then here, this is the contact. I'm going to be creating a new contact here. So I need to find the new button, and this is in the contacts folder that was just created. Well, this is the previous created, but this is the new created one down here. So, okay, oh, here's contact, okay. So then I come to here, and then it's the contact list. Drag and drop. Okay, I need to create new, so I'll click the new button. Okay, here's the information on the new form, which is, again, you can see in this contact section. Come down here, okay, contact new and edit, that makes sense. And then I'll add this, but I'm going to just, and then we'll just add, because you can see here too, it brings everything from the dropdown too. And then we'll just add TOSCA test account name. So there's already account names in there I've already created. So you can just add that there. And then pretty much I'm just moving these down, but yeah, you can see that I'm using the module that was just created. So I'll put in my email. So then that is almost everything. And then here's also the address that you'll need to add again. It's right here. And this is the demo that we just created. So these are the modules. I'll move the address information here. Milling Street, 100 Tosca Street. Milling City, let's do Houston. Milling State Province, Texas. Postal code 77384. Oh, no, that's definitely 77384. And then USA. And then let's grab the save button from here. Okay, so that should be pretty much everything you need to do. Now I'll mark that completed and I'll move it to the execution list. So let's give it a run. So as you can see here, it's doing the login module, which I created beforehand, but as you can see, it logs in. This is using Lightning, so this is the new setup. So here it clicks the app launcher. The app launcher is slightly different in Classic and Lightning, but here it can identify that. Goes to the sales, application. Then here it's going to enter in the tab, which is contacts. You can see on the top. We can see it goes to the contact section. Then it clicks the new button, which we just used or just created. And then it should fill in everything from here. There you go. Yep. It selected the account, put a title, put my email, and now it should go down and enter in the address, and then click the save button. Yep, there it is. It saved it. So that's an example of how I just did the quick scan and was able to use it right away. So thank you for looking at the demo. So now we'll move on to some key benefits of why this engine is very useful and how much time it's actually going to save. So looking at the AI-assisted Salesforce modeling, TOSCA's new Salesforce engine 3.0 can rapidly build out your entire Salesforce test design modules in less than a minute, saving hundreds of hours of test case modeling. So as you could have seen, I created all those things in probably about 30 seconds, and then I made a test case right there. I was able to just start working right away. Or if you look at it from this point of view, you can also start doing the test case design a lot quicker. You can start doing a lot more planning. You can use the requirements modules. Some things that may get pushed to the wayside, because I know scanning things on a page can take a long time, but if you already have all the modules created, you can you have more time to do a lot more things and create a lot better framework. So this engine also solves test maintenance issues through TOSCA's model-based framework. For instance, if you add a new Salesforce field, a simple rescan will keep your test case up to date without need to re-identify those dynamic fields that I talked about earlier. And then the Salesforce 3.0 engine provides a stable, consistent testing platform and layout for steering and testing your various Salesforce apps and controls. So this kind of goes back to if you saw me open up the app launcher, Salesforce has a lot of different apps that it can interact with, which also hook up to a lot of different systems. So it can hook up to a Salesforce or SAP or the Oracle, and then you can kind of easily navigate to here through using the tabs section. With Salesforce Engine 3.0, you can automate tests for both Salesforce Lightning Experience and Salesforce Classic using the same test case and modules. This is true. I did not show this, but knowing that you can easily upgrade from Salesforce Classic and reuse those test cases that you use in Classic and now use on Lightning is great, because now you don't have to go back and update any automation. It's just, let's test the, I guess, obtuse things that you need to test. And that's, I guess, really going to be beneficial for people migrating from Classic to Lightning is, oh, you can have, well, I guess you just look at it, hey, I can create all of these modules quickly, and I can start creating tests quickly. And that means within the next couple months, where you're probably transitioning from Classic to Lightning, you already have the test cases created for your main flows. And then you're like, hey, I don't need to actually create new test cases anymore, or new automated test cases. I already have them. So that's great from that standpoint. So now we're going to be going over a recap of the key issue, or the key benefits and the issues that this new engine addressed and solved. So if you look at it, it's the AI powered modeling, which you saw create all those modules in under like 90 seconds. It's optimizing Salesforce regression, because if you look at it, you have a larger automation framework and more time to work with, and also reducing your risk coverage, or reducing your automation suite and increasing your risk coverage. Execute and monitor, that's in the execution list section, where you can see what's been passing and what's going to fail. And that is good from seeing what the effect of from going from Classic to Lightning has on your environment, which definitely can have a large impact. And then capturing dynamic IDs. This, I think, is probably the main thing from an automation architect myself, is working with those dynamic IDs was very, very hard and cost a lot of money to try to keep those test cases working. But this definitely helps a lot, because I don't have to rescan my modules anymore. I just have to, I guess, continue to make them more robust. And release ready. Salesforce has 3 releases a year, and everyone in it, and anyone who uses Salesforce, doesn't have an option. They have to take these releases. So with all of this, the new power and making sure the maintenance is going to be a lot lower, you'll be ready for the release, because if anything changes, you just have to rescan, and then you just are ready to test. So then you'll have your environment tested. So it's perfect for how many different systems interact with a Salesforce system. So these are some useful links that I used. So I guess I use some Tricentis links, and I guess if you need these, you can use them for your own reference. I found them very, very useful. And then this TTC Global, What We Think White Papers ebook, also has some great references. Please go look at these after the presentation. And now I'll turn it over to you guys for some questions.